r/ask Reddit. What innocent search ended up being NSFW? Back in the 90s, my sister was trying to show my mom how the internet works. She said, you can, for example, go to sites for any kind of band you like, so Backstreet Boys, and types in bsb.com or bsbfan.com or something similar. Up pops the Bear Shaggy Boys hairy porn site, and that's how my sister wasn't allowed to use the internet without supervision for 3 months. I was a big wrestling fan back in the day. We got the internet when I was in 6th grade, and so I was trying to find all of these different wrestling websites. I liked the NWO Wolfpack, so I typed in wolfpack.com and it was not wrestling. That was actually probably the first NSFW thing I ever saw on a computer now that I think about it. Came looking for NWO, ended up with NSFW. As a network engineer, when I Google the error code in the device, I now have to type out wireless access point instead of LAN. There's some LAN in this house. Need a router and a comp for this wireless access point. My friend went to a library to research sex discrimination before computers were widely available. She chose a computer for blind people which suddenly said very loudly, you typed in the keyword sex. There are over 70,000 results for your keyword sex. If you want to filter results for the keyword sex. And she quickly pressed ESC, but it was too late. Everyone around looked at her as if she was a pervert. Blind person here. I can just imagine the horror and mortification because I know the kind of computer you mean. I'm crying. I was writing an essay about different types of oil, including vegetable oil, as a lubrication in machinery, and why some work and others don't. So I googled vegetable oil lubrication. I learned a lot, but nothing I could use for my essay. Wait for it to rain. 2. Cover yourself in vegetable oil lubrication. A friend of mine had a prolapsed disc in his back some years back. I wanted to learn about it, so I googled prolapse and ended up checking the image results. That was the day I learned that your rectum can actually prolapse. I got 7 words into this post and went, oh no. Docking. I intended to Google the docking maneuvers of spaceships. What I got was not that thing. This reminds me of when I went looking for sounding, meant as the way to measure the depth of the ocean. I was not ready for what I was about to find. When the internet was fairly new, my dad decided to print out coloring pages for my daughter. He searched for Barbie pictures and ended up with nudes of the Barbie twins. He was embarrassed but warned the whole family about his mistake. I wanted to go the American Girl doll website as a child. My dad typed in americangirls.com instead of americangirl.com, which was a huge mistake. He's pretty tech savvy, so he then blocked porn websites on our Wi-Fi well into when I was in college. Who knew a small S could make such a difference? Seems American Girl has now bought that domain. Tried it and it redirects to americangirl.com. Period knitting. What I wanted. Historic patterns. What I got. That chick who shoves wool up her vagina and then pulls it out and knits it. Wary Beaver Roman candles. Wary Beaver is a firework brand. This would create an awkward headline if their fireworks ever cause an accident. Wary Beaver blows off man's hand. Once my little cousin borrowed my laptop for a project. Later, when I was casually scrolling through my history for a link, there was a Google search for boobs and then big boobs. Guess the little man wasn't satisfied by the former search. At least he wasn't the 12-year-old kid who googled sexy 16-year-olds on his dad's work computer. My stepson did that on our iPad. I told him googling 13-year-old sex is not something I should have in my search history. It wasn't my work computer, and thankfully, even if it was, I'm the person who would deal with that. Wife and I were joking about eating chicken noodles, which then led to chicken nudes. I searched for turkey nudes next and forgot Turkey was a country. You made me search it up, NGL. I had an employee who was an architect student, and I let her work on her schoolwork during the day when work was slow. One day she wanted to show me a cool new material she had seen at her class. She couldn't remember the name of it, and Google image searched hard dark ebony wood to show me. I laughed my ass off. Surprisingly, SFW results for that, actually. Isabel Animal Crossing. Forgot to type the R in Gary Oldman's name one time. When I was a child, I wanted to practice my drawing skills by drawing some Inuyasha pictures. I hopped on the family PC and hit up the Google. I didn't know how to spell Inuyasha, and I have no idea what I did spell, but it was all internet porn. I had never seen porn before. That's when a young Inukchuk's life changed forever. I was doing research on sex chromosome disorders. Pro tip: when googling XXX females, maybe include the word chromosomes in there somewhere. When we got an Amazon tablet, my 5-year-old was upset that Alexa wouldn't let us teach it his voice for the voice recognition. I tried to explain it to him simply by saying it doesn't allow children to use the voice recognition because otherwise they could say, "Alexa, show me the naughtiest picture in the world," unwittingly summoning Alexa in the process. When I heard "here are my results for naughtiest picture in the world," the panic was real. I'm pretty sure the results would have been fairly vanilla, but I locked the tablet very quickly nonetheless. I was taking a graphic arts class in middle school and searched for beach on Google Images. I ended up with pictures of naked men on the beach. Well, it was graphic. I had a report to do on Lucy when I was in like 4th grade or something. It's an old Australopithecus fossil. Well, I Google searched that shit with my friend at his house and found some boobs. We did click on the boobs, but quickly got back to our intended study. Well, my mom got a call from his mom later that night freaking out about us looking at porn, and my explanation did not hold any water at all, so I was grounded. I'm still kinda salty to this day and feel like I was set up. I once searched Pandora's box at work. I was trying to find a book and no porn, so much porn. I didn't get fired though, thank God. I'm legitimately surprised that you'd get porn first, before Greek mythology. As a kid around age 10, me and my friends wanted to make our own TCG game like Pokemon. So we thought of cool sounding nouns we could use for art, so we Googled beasts, but we fat fingered the R on the search. Cue mom walking in on two 10-year-old kids who just googled breasts right in front of her and the ensuing tears trying to explain to her what happened. I know I'm late, but I have the best story for this one. For both people who end up reading it. 6th grade, Mormon me is supposed to be doing a 5-paragraph research paper on some shit or another. Is super bored. At the time, my favorite thing to daydream about was a magically creature I made up that was basically just a ball of fur with 2 paws. Like a snuggly Kirby. Perhaps, looking for further fuel for this magical creature I imagine and bored of the essay I Google. Cute furry balls. My 9-year-old searched herping because he likes looking for frogs. Instead he saw oozing herpes sores on genitalia. Scared him silly. Poor guy. LOL. My grandmother had a small mammal living in her backyard and I was trying to help her figure out what it was. I was using Google image search and decided to look for pics of beavers. Well, the first result was not the kind of beaver we were talking about, nor was it something you want to pop up with your grandmother looking over your shoulder. Luckily she's pretty laid back. We laughed our asses off for 5 minutes before searching beaver animal. I was looking for a picture of a pasty. I spelled it with an I instead of a Y. A pasty is a much different thing than a pasty. When Stormy Daniels did her 60 Minutes interview, I searched for Stormy Daniels streaming. I wanted to make a watch the game at some bar poster. I was looking for a silhouette of people on a couch with their hands raised like score. I could find silhouettes of heads but none of the fists in the air. So I did a search for fists and just got color photos of clenched hands. Tried fisting. Nope. I remember in elementary school we had to go to a computer lab for a project about healthy foods or something, and our teachers kept saying do not Google search milk, and of course there was the trouble kid in the class who did it anyway, and a couple of us got to see the results. It was a pair of very large, very beautiful breasts that had milk poured over them. So, I've got to horse, a male one. I got to wondering, I mean, their junk is retractable, right? So where does it go when it's retracted? Like what structure in there is acting like a garden hose reel? So now I want to actually know this. So turn to the internet and, I mean, how do you actually Google that? You can't put in where does the horse dong go because this is the internet. FFS. Turns out the best words to use are equine reproductive anatomy because everything else goes wrong. When the internet was new, a lady from my church accidentally found something she wasn't ready for. She was one of those very conservative, naive Christian women. There was a church group for young boys and girls similar to Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. The boys group was called RAs or Royal Ambassadors. The girls group was called GAs or Girls in Action. She went to Yahoo to look up material and first searched GAs and nothing of note came up. She then searched Girls in Action and well, let's just say she didn't find a church group. In middle school we had to do a social studies research paper on a country. Well, one of my classmates was doing his on the Czech Republic. So when we were sitting there in alternative school stupid story, he googled Czech Republic and all the Google images were of porn. The alternative school teacher absolutely flips her shit like a crazy person. Like, I mean, this woman had no business being around kids. It caused a massive ruckus. This was around 05 BTW. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.